Yeah, I mean, he's a big star now. I mean, he's a big star. I mean, when you're asking me, you're saying how much bigger can he be? I don't know. We'll see. But he's already a big star.
I reckon they're going to book Khamzat Chimaev versus Nassourdine Imavov in January. And that's what we're looking forward to as the next title fight of the middleweight division. So I reckon that's what they're going to do. Nassourdine.
Imagine someone like Anthony Hernandez does a little bit better on the ground than Dricus du Plessis. I would imagine that Imavov may even do a little bit better. But still, you're watching the level of ease at which Khamzat was able to just control Dricus without expending a lot of energy. And that's really the point that I am going to emphasize, because...
happens next. Who's next? I think you got Kaio and Ivanov fighting. I think the winner of that's probably going to be definitely next, I'd say.
Khamzat Chimaev turned up the pressure on the UFC, making it clear he wants nothing less than the biggest fights available. The new champion is demanding mega fights and major paydays, pushing Dana White to line up blockbuster opponents. In response, Dana stated that Khamzat Chimaev is currently the biggest star the UFC has to offer. While acknowledging Chimaev's massive presence right now, White admitted that only time will tell just how much bigger and more popular the undefeated champion can become.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big star now. I mean, he's a big star. I mean, when you're asking me, you're saying how much bigger can he be? I don't know. We'll see. But he's already a big star. Everything about this fight was big, from pay-per-view to all the numbers that we were looking at. And just being here in Chicago, I mean, the last 3 days here felt big. Tonight in the arena was insane. Yeah, he's a star. I don't know if you're asking me how much more of a star can he be. We'll see.
Backing up that sentiment, Alexander Volkanovski stated that Khamzat Chimaev did not need a title to be considered a massive star, nor did winning the belt suddenly propel him into stardom.
And he's a star. Chimaev is a star. He always was a star, as Dana White has said he's a massive star. He doesn't really need to win a title. Like, you know, is he going to be an even bigger star? Like, he was already a massive star. A lot of people are going to be, 5-round decision was Holden, as if that's going to be a massive knock to him. Yeah, all right, he probably didn't jump in crazy stardom like some of, like the trajectory he's had through.
He went further, explaining that it will only take one big finish for Chimaev to be pushed into another level of popularity. Volkanovski also noted the unforgiving nature of the sport, where a single decision win can lead to a fighter being labeled boring, reminding fans that these are people's lives on the line and the risks are real.
His career, but all he needs is another fight and get a crazy finish, and then all of a sudden it just go boom, and he's just you guys all, everyone's jumping on the bandwagon saying how much of a star he is, right? That's how quickly this is a crazy sport we're in. It can be quite unforgiving. You have one decision, then all of a sudden it's like, boo, but mate, people got to, I guess, understand that this is people's life. You know what I mean? There's risk. I guess you can say you're risking the damaged life, that sort of stuff. But not only that, is like a loss can really affect your life, your family, and all that. Do they want to just take, risks? I mean, look how many risks he takes, or a lot of these fighters take. They have one boring fight, then everyone seems...
To clarify his stance, Volkanovski added that he did not view it as a snoozer fight, while acknowledging that not much happened in terms of action. He said Khamzat Chimaev displayed clear control throughout the contest.
Then it's like, all right, is it worth sacrificing everything if everyone's going to hate me after one, snoozer? I don't think it was a snoozer. He still showed a lot of control, but yeah, not much happened. But yeah, again, it can be quite the unforgiving sport. But at the same time, they might sit there, you might get a bit of hate, and then one big fight, they're all back on board saying you're the man. So that's just the sport we're in. But yeah, the highs are highs and the lows can be low. But I mean, winning a world title and having a few people say, oh, it was boring, that ain't a low. He'll be flying high right now. And as I said, he got 5 rounds. I think him and his team would have liked the fact that he did the 5 rounds to get a bit of that experience in him. But let's see what happens next.
Moreover, MMA Guru weighed in after Khamzat Chimaev's dominant win over Dricus du Plessis, noting that while both fighters could be eyeing a quick turnaround, it is unlikely that Chimaev will return any sooner than 5 months. He added that when Chimaev does step back into the octagon, he expects the UFC to match him against Nassourdine Imavov in January 2026.
But regardless whether or not that is the case or not, it was a very dominant fight with a lot of 10-8 rounds, but even with that, Dricus took 0 damage. So I think Dricus du Plessis can be looking for an immediate turnaround, and Khamzat Chimaev can be looking for a quick turnaround as well. I don't think we see that quick of a turnaround, though. I think it's going to at least be about 5 months, and I reckon they're going to book Khamzat Chimaev versus Nassourdine Imavov in January, and that's what we're looking forward to as the next title fight of the middleweight division. So I reckon that's what they're going to do. Nassourdine Imavov's fighting Kaio Baralia in September, in a couple of weeks from now, actually, in Paris. They just had Khamzat Chimaev win the belt against Dricus du Plessis, so why not have Khamzat Chimaev be in the crowd on the Paris card, try and build it up, get him in the area. I reckon that's what you...
However, Lucas Tracy commented that while Khamzat Chimaev may be calling for big fights, he has doubts about Chimaev's ability to actively defend a championship the way Dricus du Plessis has defended. Tracy expressed concern that Chimaev appears more focused on jumping divisions in pursuit of multiple titles,
even going into his 4th title fight. So, yeah, I don't know. Khamzat's obviously a bigger star, but I need to be honest, man. I wish we were in the du Plessis era. Now I feel like, okay, well, what, we're going to see Khamzat once a year, and he's talking about moving into another division, getting the belt there, moving up 2 divisions, getting the belt there, and then it's sayonara. I don't know. But the domination is insane. Like, Dricus du Plessis had absolutely nothing for this guy. Absolutely nothing. And yes, it was boring, but like, you have to be impressed by how Dricus was rendered into,
and suggested that he could eventually walk away from the sport altogether after acquiring multiple titles. Expanding on that, Lucas noted that if Khamzat Chimaev secures a dominant ground position, such as half guard or crucifix, his strength and technique make it nearly impossible to escape. He added that grit and cardio will not matter once Chimaev pins an opponent there, leaving them stuck. He stated that he expects Anthony Hernandez and Imavov to do a little bit better on the ground than Dricus du Plessis against Khamzat.
I would imagine someone like Anthony Hernandez does a little bit better on the ground than Dricus du Plessis. I would imagine that Imavov may even do a little bit better, but still, you're watching the level of ease at which Khamzat was able to just control Dricus without expending a lot of energy. And that's really the point that I am going to emphasize, because before this fight, I was always saying, dude, if Khamzat can't get first round finishes, he's cooked, basically. But now that I see that if he can get like a dominant position, half guard, crucifix, whatever on the ground, and he can keep it without expending a lot of energy, who's to say he can't do that to another guy like Anthony Hernandez? Anthony Hernandez and Imavov don't have something magical where they have like the little trick, the little magic trick to get out of crucifix position. Sometimes you're just in those positions and you're screwed, and Khamzat is so strong, he's so good on the ground, he could put you there.
In response, MMA Guru pointed out that while Anthony Hernandez holds a solid win over Roman Dolidze, Nassourdine Imavov would have a much stronger case if he defeats Kaio Baralia. Guru noted that beating both Israel Adesanya and Baralia in back-to-back fights would make it impossible to deny Imavov a title shot.
I just saw a Lucas Tracy thing saying that Anthony Hernandez is the only thing. Anthony Hernandez beat Roman Dolidze, and I didn't think he would, and that's a good win. But if Imavov beats Baralia, he would have beaten Adesanya and Baralia in his last 2 fights. You can't not give him a title shot. Like, I know it's, oh, we have to find a style to beat this guy, but you shouldn't do that. Like, that's not how we should be doing things. I don't want to be at featherweight and think, oh, we've got all of these good top contenders, but I don't know if any one of them are actually going to win. So let me just go with this guy who's number 8 because he's got a style that's going to win. I don't know about that. I think we should be matching up the best of the best. And regardless of how their styles compare to Chimaev, you've got to give them their opportunity. You know, Chimaev's style shouldn't cost Imavov the chance of achieving his dream.
In addition, Volkanovski believes that the winner of the fight between Kaio Baralia and Nassourdine Imavov will be next in line for the title.
I think you've got Kaio and Imanov fighting. I think the winner of that's probably going to be definitely next, I'd say. But we'll see what happens.
Adding to that, Chael Sonnen stated that the winner of Kaio Baralia versus Nassourdine Imavov should be the clear #1 contender. However, he noted a twist after Dana White announced the UFC is likely to take Khamzat Chimaev to Abu Dhabi. Sonnen explained that the event is set for 9 weeks from now, while the Baralia versus Imavov fight is just 3 weeks away. That would leave Chimaev with a 6-week turnaround, something Sonnen pointed out is highly unusual, as we rarely see fighters return that quickly.
I think we can all agree that the winner of Kaio and Imanov is the #1 contender, but there's a twist. Dana announced that he is likely to take Chimaev to Abu Dhabi. So the first thing I did is grab the calendar, look at the date of Abu Dhabi. Well, it's in 5 weeks. So first off, very quick, no, it's in 9. It's in 9 weeks. But don't forget, the fight with Imanov and Baralia is in 3 weeks, so it would give them 6 weeks. We just don't generally see a turnaround like that. And then we would be seeing it for 2 guys, unless we're wrong that Kaio and Imanov is a #1 contenders fight.
However, Sonnen added that if the winner of Kaio Baralia versus Nassourdine Imavov does not end up getting the title shot, then Reinier de Ridder would be the one most deserving of that opportunity.
And if we are wrong about that, there's only one other guy to look to, and that's RDR. And that is very interesting. Seeing how RDR could deal with the wrestling of Bo makes you wonder if he could deal with the wrestling of Chimaev. And we have to word it that way, guys, because what Chimaev has shown, the dominance that he has shown, there was 537 strikes landed by Chimaev. Now let me put that in perspective because I used to have the record.
Meanwhile, Kaio Baralia weighed in on Khamzat Chimaev's performance, saying the Chechen fighter simply did what he always does to his opponents. Baralia pointed out that fighters often make critical mistakes when facing Chimaev, and that tendency continues to play into his dominance inside the octagon.
I think he did what he does to everyone, you know, and he just dominated the guys with his kind of wrestling and jiu-jitsu and all his stuff, and I just think that people don't have answer for that. They don't know how to prepare for that, you know, like they think it's just about hire a lot of wrestlers and then try to take me down. I would just training how to defend takes down. There's nothing to do with that, you know, so I think people make a lot of mistakes when they prepare to fight against Khamzat. I think he did what he always does, but this time he didn't finish. So when a grappler comes and just hug the guys and he doesn't finish, it becomes a boring fight. For sure, it's a title fight, high-level guys, Dricus du Plessis. He was doing very good in the division. He was the reigning champion and everything, but when the grappler guys come and don't finish, it becomes a boring fight like that.
Adding to that, Kaio explained that scrambling with Khamzat Chimaev is nearly impossible, given that Chimaev has been mastering it since childhood. However, Baralia believes he holds a unique advantage, having spent time inside Chimaev's training camps and gaining first-hand knowledge of how he trains and prepares for fights.
For me, it's the same. I always see him as the same. He's a phenomenal athlete, very strong. His wrestling is like high level. It's almost impossible to scramble with him because he does that since he was like 9 years old. So he's doing scramble all his life. So I think that's all the mistake that people does. Dricus tries some guillotines and all that. So I don't think that's the way, you know. So I think the same thing. I spent 1 month in his training camp when he was in All Stars over there, and I know very well how he works, his system and everything. And I think have advantage between all the middleweight fighters. I think I'm the one that have advantage to beat him because I know what exactly he's doing.
On the other hand, Sean O'Malley suggested that Khamzat Chimaev should consider jumping from middleweight to light heavyweight to face either Magomed Ankalaev or Alex Pereira. He noted that the winner of UFC 320 could be an interesting matchup for Chimaev. O'Malley added that at 185, the only way to beat Chimaev is for a fighter to match his level of wrestling.
We just knew it was a matter of time before that dude was champ. Yeah, so what makes sense for Khamzat Chimaev? Does it make sense for him to fight at 185 again, or is he too dominant? Does it go up to 205? Ankalaev's fighting Alex Pereira. Even still, it's like maybe Ankalaev versus Khamzat. It could be interesting, maybe, purely on how big Ankalaev is. Yeah. There's absolutely, I don't think there's anything to break down against Sean Strickland, even Izzy. As much as I fucking love Izzy, Khamzat, Imavov, they're all strikers, dude. You have to be an absolute... You have to match that skill of wrestling. He did that to probably one of the best grapplers in the division. I mean, DDP is no slouch on the ground.
Additionally, Israel Adesanya stated that Khamzat Chimaev made sure Dricus du Plessis would not build any momentum and added that the division is in good hands with Chimaev as the new champion.
I got him now, but he just finds a way to get his third wind fourth win. But yeah, Khamzat made sure he didn't even get the first win and just smothered him.
46 or 50?
50-44, something crazy.
44 is that score?
Yeah, 50-44, that was crazy. So yeah, Khamzat, new middleweight champion. And yeah, division's in good hands.
Similarly, Tom Aspinall congratulated Khamzat Chimaev, but mentioned he had hoped for a more thrilling fight between them. However, as a grappling enthusiast, Aspinall said he still enjoyed the match and praised Chimaev for his total dominance, calling the fight one-sided from beginning to end.
Not much coming back from Dricus at all. He's turned to his knees, but ends up losing the scramble again. Khamzat straight back on the double, takes him down again. It's so hard to fight guys like Khamzat Chimaev who just keep coming at you relentlessly. DDP looking out of sorts after the first round. Completely dominated in the first round.
If we just stop it there for round one, what makes Khamzat so quick on his feet and able to just sort of constantly be on top of him like that?
I think his grappling is just so good. I think he's just got like an unbelievable grappling style.
Weighing in, Robert Whittaker said there were moments in the fight where both fighters impressed him. He noted that everyone expected Khamzat Chimaev to secure an early takedown, but not the finer details, such as locking in a crucifix and landing hundreds of punches. What stood out most to Whittaker was that Chimaev was able to maintain that level of dominance for the entire fight.
I'll say props, like I have mad respect for both guys because there were moments in the fight that both guys really impressed me. Now Chimaev, everyone knew the first round was going to look like that. Everyone knew. Not the finer details such as the crucifix and him just like laying 400 punches on his dome like that, but like we knew he would get him down and hold him down. Okay, what we didn't expect was Chimaev's ability to do that for 25 minutes. That was mind-blowing. And I messaged he's a man after my own heart, dude, because he is the most purest build I've ever seen. Dude, like he put all his stat points in wrestling. Like,
expanding on that, Whittaker went on to praise Khamzat Chimaev for being in complete control, pointing out that it is rare to see a crucifix held for that long, especially against a physical powerhouse like Dricus du Plessis. He added that being able to hold him down throughout the fight showed that Chimaev's jiu-jitsu and wrestling are in a league of their own.
Yeah, he had absolute control of Dricus on the ground, and this is like, it was impressive in the first round. Okay, you never see a crucifix getting held for that long. Not in MMA.
Crazy.
Not when you're versing a physical like beast like Dricus. Like physically, Dricus is pretty big. He's a strong guy, and you rarely see that level of control time, especially in that position. But then to be able to do it in rounds 2, 3, 4, when it's sweaty, when you start to gas a bit, when it's just his jiu-jitsu and wrestling is dead set that high level. Like it is unbelievable, I think. And just to have the cardio to back it. He shoots so low. He turns the corner so well. He chains his takedowns.
On the other side, Josh Thompson and John McCarthy debated whether the fight lived up to the hype. McCarthy pushed back at Thompson and the doubters, mocking the criticism by pointing out that Khamzat Chimaev shut down all doubt with a dominant performance from start to finish. He added that Chimaev did fantastically well and proved his level once again.
Yeah, okay, but it didn't live up to the hype that we thought it was going to be. I thought it was
did. If you pick Khamzat Chimaev, it definitely lived up to it. It absolutely was a fantastic fucking fight.
Don't pretend.
In the fact that
John,
people like you went and picked DDP. Oh, DDP is going to outlast him. He's going to get tired. I haven't seen enough of not a big enough sample size. He has not shown it. It was a fantastic ass whooping. And I'll give it to DDP.
I got DDP.
I'll give it to DDP. He's a tough son of a bitch.
I'm going to send him this clip where you just talk shit about it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I got DDP's number. Him and Trevor are friends, so they're good.
Hey,
I'll send it. You never have any respect for South Africa.
He did show. Man's got big balls because, man, he did not quit.
South Africa.
Finally, John McCarthy stated that the only fighter in the division who could present real problems for Khamzat Chimaev is Rainier de Ridder.
Who's the one person that you go, maybe not? It's pretty simple. Who is, if you're taking a look at all those people that are in the top in the middleweight division, there's one that you look at and you go, he's going to present a problem for Chimaev.
I mean, everyone would say RDR.
Yeah.
Okay, but I Look, I'm still on the Kai Bahalo and Amavov thing. Like, both those guys got to settle their differences, coming up. But I think either one of those guys gives him a good go too. They're,
not too sure.
In conclusion, Khamzat Chimaev has firmly established himself as the UFC's most dominant and marketable star, leaving both fans and fellow fighters in awe of his skill, control, and relentless pursuit of the biggest fights. With analysts projecting potential matchups against top contenders like Nasruddin Imavov, Anthony Hernandez, or even a jump to light heavyweight against the likes of Magomed Ankalaev or Alex Pereira, the path ahead is filled with high-stakes opportunities. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and let us know in the comments section below who you think Khamzat will face next. And we shall see you in the next video with more exciting updates.